We're kicking off the new year with a dive into dozens of demos in the first of 2024's Steam Next Fest. 2023 was an incredible year for gaming, with nearly as many hits as there were layoffs from companies that profited from them. But this year seems to be shaping up with a similarly ridiculous ratio, so let's not waste any time before the next canceled title and check out the best games I played from the Steam Next Fest. Let's start in the place where everything in the entire universe is: space. Star Trucker puts you in the role of a Star Trucker who drives a Star Truck that has the design of a regular old terrestrial truck, but also has the advantage of driving like one too. Yet this futuristic world of transporting space trailers to and from their destinations blends the slow, methodical aspects of truck simulator games with the novel challenges of dealing with atmospheric leaks, sudden unexpected loss of artificial gravity, and dramatic temperature changes when it actually works, all while giving you plenty of those classic obstacles like backing up and not running out of space gas. If you're looking for a little more of a tactical experience though, you'll probably be more interested in Homeworld 3 War Games. While this may have been a contentious demo that left many disappointed for various reasons, it did little to quell my excitement for a new entry into one of my favorite franchises. However, it may have made me a little less excited about my excitement because it seems like the delay in this modern sequel to a classic game is going to be pretty important in delivering the quality we all expect. But if you want a more detailed foray into this 3D real-time strategy adventure, you can check out this previous video all about it. The foundation of real-time strategies only needs 2 dimensions though, which is why I decided to try out Stormcade. From the Blizzard refugees that built games like StarCraft and Warcraft comes a game that feels exactly like if you put StarCraft on a map from Warcraft. You can build units with proxies for Terran and Zerg featuring all of the same mechanics and send them off to battle with special hero units using powerful abilities to mix strategy and tactics and beat up some NPCs. Or you can dive into the competitive mode and get your ass absolutely thrashed like the old days because you haven't even played StarCraft 2 in nearly a decade and don't even know what half these units do. But if you want to dive further into the past to bring a game into the future, then you'll want to check out Tribes 3 Rivals. This high-flying first-person shooter that the elders once played way back in 2001 provides players with a taste of the history of arena shooters where movements were so fast and across such great distances that you were mostly just guessing if the 7 pixels you're aiming at 200 yards in front of you was actually an enemy. Now we can relive that experience replete with skiing and universal jetpacks, making momentum just as much a part of the gameplay as the nostalgia of wondering how everyone in the game has better aim than you ever did. There is one demo that might be the key to improving those aiming skills though, and that's Children of the Sun. Here you'll only have a single shot to dispatch a whole squad of glowing cultist people in this unique low-detail, high-weirdness environment. And the way you'll do that is by redirecting your bullet with every devastating bodily penetration to ricochet to another face or explosive device, leaving only a zigzagging trail of utter destruction. Much like many Devolver Digital published games, this is as much about having a weird style and unique gameplay as it is about traumatic violence and psychological uncertainties. However, if you're looking for one of the handful of Devolver Digital games that might not leave you mentally scarred, there's always Pepper Grinder. Here you'll take on the role of a shipwrecked protagonist who almost instantaneously stumbles onto an incredibly powerful drill and turns that into a tool to blaze through any loose terrain just as easily as the unlocking creatures that happen to be in the way. As you dig yourself through the soil, you'll crack open caches of gems and launch yourself across the map with unbelievable amounts of satisfaction, turning the action of digging into the ground into high-flying platforming without a moment of hesitation. Playing in the dirt doesn't have to be a violent affair though, which is why I enjoyed Lightyear Frontier. Crafting/farming/survival games usually aren't something I mess with. The moment I have to punch a tree, I'm already borderline unconscious. Yet when you put me in a mech, it makes even the most mundane task infinitely more exciting. After flying to some distant world and crash landing, you'll snap your mech back together and begin building yourself a homestead full of farm plots, barns, and cozy little housing fit for as many decorations as you can scrape together the resources for. But instead of going for Avatar on this alien world, you'll cultivate the flora and fauna while exploring a mysterious collection of weird glowing shit and turning your mech into a bipedal Farm Slayer 3000. But if you want to slay something a bit more malicious than a farm, you should check out Earl vs. the Mutants. This is kind of like that classic indie game Zombie Driver, except it infused those perpetually addictive Vampire Survivors mechanics that have you slowly gaining more weapons, powers, and overall ass-kickification while collecting resources and fighting progressively tougher enemies. You'll also be able to defeat some vehicle-bound bosses in each run, unlocking their murder vehicles like this one with a big-ass spiked ball on the back. You might not want to be dragging around a 1,000-pound metal ball and chain though when you're playing Drive Rally. This retro-looking rally game has all of the features you'd expect from a rally game, but with an only slightly annoying Arnold Schwarzenegger mimicked voice guiding you along from the co-pilot seat. He'll chime in with your upcoming turns right alongside a bunch of exceptionally random quips that are sometimes contextual and sometimes completely override those extremely important upcoming hairpin turns, leaving you slamming into walls and flying off the track to your presumptive death. However, sometimes death is only 10 seconds away, like in this ultra-high-intensity first-person shooter Mullet Mad Jack. After an intro seemingly built specifically to appeal to Dr. Disrespect, you'll step into the role of this mullet-adorned mercenary with the goal of rescuing a fair maiden from a tower full of robots, bad guys, and robotic bad guys using only your gun, all of the other guns you get, and anything sharp you happen to pick up. As you fight your way up 10 floors of chaotic rampaging gunfire and neck stabbing, you'll need to keep that murder train on its tracks because your Twitch stream empowered body has only 10 seconds of life in it, and the only way to get more is to rip it out of the bodies of your enemies. All while gaining powers and kill ability with every floor you ascend, making it possible to live sometimes seconds longer with each level. But now you can regress to your childlike sensibilities and listen to this only slightly weird crooning title theme song with Toyshire. You'll finally be able to relive your dreams of having toys that come to life at your will and fight it out on your bedroom floor just like the movie Small Soldiers. Except this is a tower defense game that benefits more from the aesthetic than from mechanics I'd normally enjoy. At least until this son of a bitch came to life and started a crazy boss fight right in the middle of my lanes, melting all of my army men who were desperately trying to take it down. Not all army men are little green guys made of plastic though, and in Headquarters World War II you'll be in command of soldiers that only melt when ammunition from their tank catches fire. Here you'll lead squads of tanks, infantry, artillery, and any other tangible assets of the Second World War as you face off in turn-based combat against the classic unredeemable foe, the Nazis. You'll get to experience the familiar mechanics of an XCOM game, with Overwatch units firing on movement and being ambushed every time you round a corner by people you couldn't see or hear from 10 feet away. But as you shred tanks with shells and high explosive artillery and bombard enemies entrenched in buildings, you'll feel like that war was totally worth it to make this fine video game. Yet you may want your World War II experience to be a little more chaotic and unrealistic, so you'll need to check out World War Armies. This mobile crossover has you battling across a map, capturing points, building up static defenses, and scrambling the slowest units on the planet over the battlefield to shoot one another from upwards of several feet away until one of them disappears into the void of death. Now you can capture another point and move this bar a little closer to your side as you pump out more units to stand around shooting everyone who wanders up to their gun barrels. Gun barrels are only one of the instruments you'll be dealing death from with your arsenal of arachnid attacking armaments and Kill It With Fire 2. This follows up on the original's strange foray into a world inhabited exclusively by you and just way too many fucking spiders. Spiders of all sorts, including your standard creepy crawlers, ones that jump on your face to make you incredibly uncomfortable, and even spiders that transform into random objects and then just run around like idiots when you discover them. But unlike reality, these spiders can't bite your ass to death, and the challenge is finding them while unlocking this world of puzzle block doors and completing tasks to squash, shoot, and burn them into unrecognizable masses that only you will ever know was once a spider. But pests can be your new best friends if you decide to play Trash of the Titans. Here you can take on the role of your favorite nocturnal creatures with possums, skunks, raccoons, and badgers, each filling standard RPG roles as you venture into a roguelike journey to collect trash. Trash that is also coveted by the evil rats who you'll face off against in this Final Fantasy Tactics style turn-based brawl until you vanquish them all and take those gourmet garbage treats for yourself. Then you get to play actual Tetris with this delicious detritus as you divvy it out to your crew, buffing them up for the next dumpster diving demolition derby. If you're tired of all the destruction though, you might want to try building your way to safety with Cataclysmo. After a brief journey and learning how to fight, you'll find yourself within the broken down walls of a castle catastrophe where you'll be tasked with turning it into a fully functional fighting fortress one brick at a time. You'll have to slap together shanties and get your plebs working in the sawmills and stone cutters in order to give you the resources to reform these mighty walls and build a barracks to train capable warriors because shit is about to hit the fan. But when it does, you can fend off these hordes of whatever these things are with arrows, rocks, magical spells, and of course these big old walls, assuming you didn't build them terribly. But walls can be your worst enemy or your most convenient way to get around in the shadow-chasing third-person adventure Erebon Shadow Legacy. What I originally assumed was a sequel to Origami is in fact not that at all, but is a cool Metal Gear Solid style journey through stealth and action featuring a character with magical shadow melding powers. As you dip in and out of the shades of perpetual golden hour, you'll be able to sink into the darkness like a squid from Splatoon and zip around unseen in order to avoid these deadly robotic sentries. Then you can pop up behind them and deliver a devastating electrical stab to their robo-spine, rendering them inactive until another robot comes to check them out. All you'll need to do is make it through this incredibly long introductory dialogue that doesn't matter in any way, and you're ready to sneak your way into the back door of a good time. Choosing your route to a good time has never been more familiar with the space-based branching path roguelike Breachway. In a title that borrows from FTL, For the Warp, Trigon Space Story, and maybe the upcoming Earthless, you'll be on a space journey through the galaxy encountering various events that somehow almost always result in you going face to face with another ship and picking it apart with your collection of weapons and abilities. But this time those ship powers are placed on several cards and shuffled into a deck of randomization to add that splash of RNG we all know and love. Yet not all games need chance to challenge your skills, which is why I had a great time with a top-down spellcasting action roguelike Storm Edge. Much like the now classic Wizard of Legend, you'll take on the role of some kind of high-agility spellcaster that has to sling magic and build combos to dispatch wave upon wave of nasty fantasy bad shit that wants to kill you. As you progress through these stone corridors and trap-filled arenas, you'll unlock augmentations and additional powers, letting you break enemy guards and stack up your damage so fast you won't even know what's actually happening on the screen. All you need to succeed is to be able to dodge roll with speed. But one thing I'll never have is enough speed to play all of the demos I wanted to try in this 7-day Steam Next Fest event, even if it was my full-time job. With the hundreds of demos, there's bound to be dozens that at least look interesting, and that's not even considering the ones I played that ended up being kinda shitty or didn't work right. However, there's no better place to get your finger on the prostate of upcoming hits of all shapes and sizes and feel the heartbeat of game development. So if you got the chance to try any of these, and you may still be able to depending on when this goes live, let me know which ones you enjoyed. Or if you played something completely different, shout it out in the comments and maybe I'll be able to check it out too. But in whatever circumstance this finds you, just make sure you stick around for more hot takes, warm satire, and tepid commentary, because that's what we do around here at Abbreviated Reviews.